try this again. Yesterday was a failure. I thought I could put the first row of tongue and groove board up by myself, and the method I was using just wasn't working. So I thought a little bit more about it last night. Just tried it on one board and it seemed to work okay. The first thing I'm doing is this block here. So this will go at the outside of the last ceiling rafter, and I can just put the board right in here and just have it rest on there. What I ended up doing was putting basically a shim at the back side, so that way it provides resistance, so when the board's laying in here, it can't flop down. It stays put. So that's working out pretty well. So then all I have to do is match it to the green laser line that's going from end to end, so I'll get a nice straight line. I just found out this is not a good board for the first row, because I'm going to end up cutting off some of this right here. There's going to be a big gap. Oh, shoot. This one has a big old cut at the end here. A split right down the center. Oh, I just can't win. So I need this to go back more, but it's hitting right here. So I'm trying to find a board in here that I have marked where the bad area is. It is the right length for the last piece without cutting too much off and wasting too much of the board. Alright, there's a big crack, goes up to that knot, so I'm going to cut beyond that knot. So I put tape on here, so that way when I cut it, it doesn't leave splinters on the edge and keeps the stain color in place. See, nice clean edge, no splinters. There's a pretty big gap right here, and it's right by the doorway, and I know I'm just going to be looking up at that. It's a nice tight fit over here, which is nice. So this is the edge with the gap right here. This was tight against the edge. You need to come off just a slight bit. Let's see, it's a 5-inch gate. I want it to cut on that edge. So 5 inches over. That's 5 inches, and that is, yep, 5 and a 1/16. That's about right. Well, that's fun. Let's see if that fits better. Oh yeah, that's much nicer. Okay, I now have the first row in. It's a nice straight line. There's a bunch of waviness on the wall, so there's really small gaps between the board and the wall and larger gaps. So I now want to fix that. So I need to trace that line and then cut that edge off. So let's do that. It's just a block of wood with a pencil. Go along the wall. This will trace the unevenness of the wall onto the tape, and then I can cut it off with a saber saw. I think that's going to be the hardest part, is getting these boards down now that I have them up without putting too much of a damage on the face of this. But there's one little area here, it's not too bad, that I need to do some touch up on, but that's fine. So now that I have my mark where I need to cut, I'm going to cut that piece off, and then when I put it back up, it should match the path of the wall, the wave of the wall. Moment of truth. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. That's nice. Okay, only 58 more feet to go. All the way back to the wall, and it should have a nice, fairly tight fit. It doesn't over here. This is gapped. Shoot, more than I would have liked, but oh well. Nothing I can do about that. Get some of that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's not cool. Just when we were ready to put up the boards, and they were all cut, and following the curvature of or the unevenness of the wall, made a mistake, and I left the blue tape on too long. So when we peeled it peeled off some of the top portion of the grain, and therefore some of the stain, and now there's a big straight line down the center of or down the edge of these. So we're going to sand them and restain them and then put them up. You like that lightened color?
That's pretty.
Okay, the first row on the west wall is up. I think it looks really good the way that it follows the waviness of the wall. And from back here, it really looks like it's a nice snug fit. I'll show you guys a little close-up of how it looks when you're directly underneath it. There's a few areas where there's a little bit of gap, and I think I can put a little caulking in there and then paint it. You'll never know. But otherwise it looks really good. There's one area that I really hope changes. The board that we just sanded and restained is quite a bit darker than the boards right next to it. I think it'll tone down the more it dries out. But other than that, it turned out really good. And having Katie's help was a huge help. So tomorrow I have a friend coming over to help with more of this. You guys know him. I think we're going to be able to whip this out pretty quickly, especially with his expertise. So stick around for the next video where we get most of it finished. We won't be able to get it all finished because I can't get it touching the beam because the beam isn't wrapped. But Katie and I spent a little bit of time earlier today getting some of that prepared, so that's coming up too. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video. Appreciate you watching very much. Bye.